let's see if there's any more. We'll give it a couple more. Oh, here we go. Hi, Kayla. Yeah, we changed the room. There was more tech stuff to be used here, so. Yeah. Yeah, feel free to grab whatever food, please. It's celebrating you guys too, so I mean, if you want. We have donuts, we got chips, we got all the above, so. Yep.
I can hear myself throw my phone there, that's good.
Mike's working.
Yeah.
Hey, at least not me throwing my phone on your floor.
So yeah, we'll give till about 9, 10.
It's happened before.
We'll get to it. I'll,
Rocket League makes me feel a different type of way. Not in a good way.
It's okay, you won't have my throw your phone on, because I think I might be living in the next semester.
Really? I do. In a suite or apartment? With who?
With buddy Jimmy.
Oh, you are going to be with them?
Yeah, they came back and said, actually, you're here.
Nice. It didn't even let us like
Vegetarian.
one.
feel free to grab any and all food at the end there. We haven't really started yet. People are chilling. Yeah.
But we have to wait till 10 a.m. tomorrow.
I was at that
10 a.m. tomorrow?
It's kind of dumb to be like,
Yeah, because it's juniors and seniors, so it's tomorrow. The time's all
I thought it was
different.
just seniors tomorrow.
No, seniors were today.
people in the neighborhood just
Seniors.
Max slot was today at 6:45.
We'll give it 2 more.
He was able to select houses today.
towards the end of the summer. You're gonna as long as I'm healthy, I will be there.
Mine's the 24th at 7:15. He, I don't think he selected houses today. I think
He definitely did, because it's Aurelius, basically, just like selecting.
I think he favored it. It opened today. Like they said, they told everyone they're housing lottery tickets today. If you look at the,
I saw the email.
if you look at the thing Kane sent, it says
Even as coach, potentially.
begins Wednesday the 24th.
Isn't Joe still?
He probably favorited his.
By the way, it didn't even let us favorite.
Did you look at it correctly?
Yeah, I don't know what his plans are, because he has another
Roommate
semester.
group?
So there's a chance he would just stay at that house and fit. Because he would,
Hey, Chris, out of curiosity, is there anyone yet on your stream?
So on our stream,
If it says I will not be upset, it's okay.
2.
it says 2.
Okay,
One of you and somebody else.
One of them is me.
that's understandable. All
I'm
right.
sorry, on my phone it says 4. So they might be bots. They might be people tuning in from the voice.
Yeah,
Either way, they
it
can learn.
works. That's okay.
The bots. We're teaching so much.
Yeah, we'll go with it. This is
AI.
fine. This is good. All right, sure. We'll see who else pops in on. I'll keep my phone handy in case anyone pops in. Alrighty. Just in case. Cool. And worst case scenario, hey, I mean, we got it streamed, we got it on YouTube, so it'll be good. It'll be okay. John, okay, all good. Alrighty. Sure, we'll get started. Hey guys. So I think at this point we're probably going to get started. I don't see why not. Thank you all for coming, especially the current staff. Thank you guys for coming. This event is not just to talk about the review in general and to get word out there, but also to celebrate our current staff. That are still here, that are still doing their thing, that are able to come. So I want that to be known. So thank you guys for showing up. Please enjoy as much of the food as you want. I anticipate it might get close to full, and we're halfway there, so not bad. And like I said too, we have Esports Club present as well, so I think it'd be inappropriate to not say thank you to them as well for doing more than just Zoom, like streaming this event in general. However many people we can get to, check out our event. And also on their YouTube channel as well, they will also have this talk that I'm doing here up there, so that way we can get a little more traction as well too for what's going on. So, I'm excited to have multiple opportunities for us moving forward. And yeah, just to have all be present, even the few of you that did come to check us out, we appreciate that as well. Having extra people to just learn more about us and more opportunities, that's always big. That's why we're doing this. So let's get started. So, all right, yeah. Wait, hold on. There we go. Alrighty, so not to put you guys on the spot, but so I'll start because it's good to have the big man, the big person that's working on this. I am Sean. I think I know mostly everybody here, but for those that don't know, I'm Sean Callahan. I'm the editor-in-chief of the review. Editor-in-chief, we'll get into what that means later, but in short, it means I do a whole heck of a lot of managing and a lot of working with just about everybody that's on the paper. And so I'm the editor-in-chief for fall of 2023 to spring of 2024. It doesn't have to be a one-year position. We've had one that was here for 2 years prior to my time here. I'm a senior now, so this is my last hurrah, really. Our last issue for this particular semester will be next week, actually. So it's pretty crazy to say out loud, but we're on the home stretch here. And then we have our copy editor, Kateri. Yep. She was it the past 2 years you've been copy editor, right? I believe. Yeah. Yeah. So we have Kateri. You want to major year, I guess currently. Go ahead.
As I'm keeping these up. Yeah, I'm a English major, senior.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. That works. And then we have our production manager as well. You want to introduce yourself, your major year?
I'm Anastasia, I'm junior, and I'm in marketing and digital art media and international economics.
Mm-hmm. She'll also be actually returning as our production manager as well too, so that's awesome. We're happy to have you back. Production manager as well, I'd like to, and we'll talk about it later, but it's also a really important role because it's always nice to have someone that has really good experience and digitally producing our issues, making sure that they look right when they come out. That's really good to have that experience, and so we're really grateful to have you on board. I've said it so many times, we're also a tag team too as well, so work a lot together. And then we have this year, our sports editor too. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Jacob. I'm the sports editor. I am a senior psych major.
Nice. And then our news editor is not currently with us, but she's done an amazing job this year too. It's worth noting that she's also this is her only year for review, and she's a senior, but she's done excellent for us. Brianna Saylor. And then we also have our staff writers that are with us as well too here. We've got introduce yourself, John.
My name is John Sims. I'm a staff writer for Review. Worked here since my sophomore year, beginning of sophomore year, and it's an easy job. So.
Yep. And then we also have not only a staff writer, but I would really love to introduce our new editor-in-chief for next year. Ren, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ren. I'm a freshman, English major, art history minor, and I'm a little nervous. I didn't know you were just going to tell people all about. I thought, okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Someone's in the here.
Yeah. Oh, got it. Thank you.
Someone
Appreciate
important.
that. Someone very important. That's right. Yeah. So let's do that.
There it is.
There we go. Hi, Dr. McDaniel.
Hi, guys.
Yes, and you're right on time. This is our faculty advisor, Dr. McDaniel. Yes.
Sorry I'm late. Let's go home.
That's okay, not a problem. But no, Dr. McDaniel, as long as I've been here, has also been on the review. So we've been really grateful to have his expertise and also his advice if we ever need it at any point. Yes, and then we also have, I would be remiss not to mention Elizabeth Crockett, our digital media editor. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a senior psych major, and I've been doing this since my sophomore year. So, yeah, my position is going to be open if anyone wants to apply to that.
Right. And then we also have our new, as of this semester, our business manager, Kaylin. Introduce yourself.
I'm Kaylin. I'm a junior business management major.
Nice. No, we've been really grateful to have that role as well because, as I'll talk about later, business manager, it is very critical. And when that position's not filled, it comes down to me or others to also help fill it. But it's a really big role for the community, not just on campus, but also making sure we're doing outreach as well with that. So, yeah. So that, did I miss any others in here? You can be honest, maybe I missed any other staff. Nope, I didn't. Nice. So, let's continue on. All right. So, what does the review do? We don't have too many that aren't like staff or former current staff here, but just spitball. Like, what are things that for a lot of people that aren't on the review yet? What do we do? Just thoughts, Beta, Sam, anyone? What do we do?
You guys publish articles in the newspaper that goes around campus.
Pretty straightforward. Any other little things you can think of? Or actually, you guys behind the camera can also go free to say if you want. Well, I would also add to publishing articles is definitely pretty upfront what we do to the community. But some of the other small things that I feel like people forget sometimes when they think of what we do is we also interview people. And of course that can be over email, that can be through other means, but we do try to emphasize in person, getting to actually make connections with people. It's not just about, I'm going to ask you question A, B, C, and move on. It's also about, what is your story? What do you have to say about this? It's not centered on me, the one interviewing them. It's centered on, what are their experiences with whatever the topic may be. Whether it's something they have expertise in, something that they witnessed, something that they have thoughts on, an event that might have happened particularly. Another thing I would argue that we also do is we, as I said before, develop connections. We develop community as well. As I said before, it's not just about the interviews. It's not just about getting an article out and saying we did it or getting an issue out. It's also about maintaining and establishing, the way I would word it is really strong connections and trust as well. Because when you make consistent inaccuracies on articles, right, or on issues, or when you publish something that's not like that's just formatted really poorly, it reflects not just on the staff, but it just reflects on the paper in general. So we try to maintain that trust by, especially if we go back to interview someone a second time, right, for something else. We're a small campus. There are the odds of that being possible. We want to make sure that we're giving them the same experience, that they can trust us each time we do it. So yeah, there's a lot of responsibility with it, and we try to adhere to that high standard if we can. And I was going to mention when we started, you'll see that there are just issues that the review all strewn about. Some of them are from as far back as 2020. I did check our website that we have, and unfortunately, I think we did start only keeping e-replicas in the spring of 2021, I believe. So the 2020 ones are a little bit in short demand digitally, but let me see if there's anyone else. We're good so far. But you'll notice that, I didn't really, I'm going to be honest, I didn't discriminate between the articles I put out. Some of them, some issues, maybe you might, if you have a really keen eye at looking through them, might have some formatting mistakes. Some of the content may not seem as up to par to you, perhaps. Maybe you see right off the bat there's an inaccuracy error in one if you really have been looking in depth on certain ones. And that happens. We try to minimize that heavily. But if you notice those things, what I would say to you is good. That's what you should be doing. It's what you should be engaging with our paper. That's what we want to see. That tells us that you care about what's in it, and you care about the information that's also being spread in it. So the point I'm making here is not just about, it's not, what the review does is not just about what we, the staff members, do. It's also about what do you all care about, and if our content is being engaged with, if the work that we do is being heard, being viewed, if it's being talked about, we can't ask any more than that. And so it really means a lot to us when we do hear those concerns, and we do hear what do you all want to see, what do you, and what is not being done well. We also want to hear that. So that's another thing I would add for what we do and building that trust. So where is the review? That's probably the biggest question that we joke about, I know on this campus even, is where even is the review? Like, how can I even find these people, or this editor-in-chief, or this whoever, right? Well, the simplest way I can phrase it is we've got stands all throughout campus. They are pretty simple, pretty plain as is, but in total I believe there's 9 or 10 total. The two that you see here, the one on the right, that is situated outside the review office, which is on the second floor of Alfred, near the entrance to Anselm Hall, that little hallway there, which I know, for those that may be freshmen or sophomores, you're looking at this like, how is this all connected? But we do exist, we do have an office, and we do make use of it during meetings. You might have walked by around 9 at night on some Mondays and seen us in there, for those maybe who aren't as familiar. But yes, so there's those. We also have a stand in the PAC, the Performing Arts Center, right outside the gym. We also have a stand by the library, Dupre. We have one in Aurelius. We have one in Alfred first floor as well. So we are spread throughout campus as far as that goes. So that's where I would highly encourage, keep a lookout for issues. I know the most popular one is outside the cafeteria in the mailroom. People tend to sit and always see those there and grab them. I would also say, on the topic of where is the review, I would highly encourage you to let us know if you think that that there's a better spot for a stand. Yep, please let us know about that. If there's a better way for people to see the hard copies that are there. That's another thing that I haven't thought about, but I'm thinking about more recently. We are also digital. If you don't already know, haven't thought about it, definitely save the link that you see here, savevincentreview.com. I put a couple more screenshots in here as we go as well, so that way you can see some of the work that's been done that you can see on the website. We have to each year on the website, you can see all the e-replicas of issues that we've done in the past. So even if there aren't hard copies of certain ones available, you might notice if you look at every issue in the room, there are gaps in certain years, but those are always available online to see, if nothing else. We do need to get a little more up to date with this semester for particular articles, but outside of that, most of the e-replicas are available for viewing for everybody. Oh, and while we're here, we have another staff member who just walked in. Introduce yourself, Ellen.
Hey guys, I'm the late one. I was Owen. I'm waiting for my clothes to dry.
Nice. All right. A little bit big here, but I'll summarize a little bit. This is our usual staff list that we work with here. You can also find it, by the way, on the back of every issue as well. I know often even I'll look at it sometimes and say, wait a minute, okay, do we have everything covered sometimes? Especially when the semester is starting. It's a good way to keep track of who's actually here, who are you working with, who are these people. And then we also have staff biographies as well on our website. Again, for the coming year, those will be more updated for sure. But yeah, our usual staff list, the editor-in-chief, that's me as of right now. I manage a lot of schedules, operations, ensuring that articles are written, edited, and also produced in a timely manner. And so, connecting with all the necessary people, the staff writers, our editors, our production manager, our copy editor, to make sure that all these are being edited, written, produced in a timely manner, trying to set the schedules for that. In addition to that, I handle hiring decisions. Me and Dr. McDaniel kind of will talk on that sometimes, ensuring issues are distributed. And another thing too is almost acting as like the primary point of contact within the SBC community for questions, concerns, even suggestions. Like I said, we really emphasize making sure that people feel okay to talk to whoever's editor or who is on the paper staff, right? And then also we have our production manager then, so that's Anastasia. She ensures that articles are produced electronically. Typically, for the past 3 production managers, I think they've all used Adobe InDesign, so that's what we've kind of stuck with as our main way of producing what you see here. And yeah, usually for the past, as long as I've known, they've always worked really closely with the editor-in-chief to make sure that if there's any certain decisions that need to be made for how to order articles, any photos need to get put in. They do have some agency if there's multiple photos, like which one might look better. So if we have certain articles where there's, like an art exhibit, and you want to have a number of options, sometimes it'll be up to them to choose, like, hey, if this one looks nicer, I'll put this one in. So it all depends. But yes, it is a very skill-based work, and that's why we're glad to have someone for the role. And then copy editor, that's Kateri. Ensuring that articles are edited in AP style, that any glaring issues, clarifying questions are reported to the article's author if there is anything wrong. Assist the editor-in-chief when necessary for whether it's like high-profile articles or things like that. Sometimes they'll step in and help out. And we also have our business manager, and that's Kaylin. So she serves as the face of business relations of the review, ensuring that local businesses, SBC student, campus clubs, organizations are reached out to, or at least that they're aware that, hey, you can send in ads that you would like to have considered to be published, invoices, things like that, to make sure appropriate payments are made. So it's also a very big role. And then we have our digital media editor. So that's the one who manages the review's website, ensures that articles, staff bios, and other items are uploaded as necessary. Also manages the review's social media. Lately, that's been mostly on Instagram, because that's the one that seems to have gotten the most outreach with students particularly, and even some alumni as well too. And then news editor. Then we have our section editors. You can see there. We have news, arts and culture, and sports. So in addition to writing an article as staff writers do, they also, as necessary, not all the time, but as necessary, they will edit writers' articles to ensure that they're up to par. We try to have at least one section editor, so that way we have as many eyes as possible on articles. So that way it's editor-in-chief, copy editor, section editor. Different people that are having eyes on the articles, they might take different things from it. They might see something that I didn't see originally, which is important. And then we have staff writers. So they write articles on a weekly or semi-weekly basis. They're the crux of what we do, and that's why it's really important to get multiple of them on staff. And they adhere to strict deadlines, conduct interviews as needed for their articles. And yeah, that about covers the usual list for our staff. So then we move on to another big item of note. These are our current work study positions open for fall 2024. So we have a copy editor. In this position, we really want good editing skills and a strong eye for detail. Those who already are a strong writer and are shown to have mastered AP style will be prioritized for this role. And then digital media editor, I would say also. We want someone with experience running a website and uploading things to it, obviously. Very active on social media is helpful as well, specifically Instagram, quick to post on the go. Those with experience with Wix, it's a website builder, and also most website experience, that will be prioritized for the role. And then staff writers, that's the most important one, always in demand every year. What we really want from that is great writing skills, the ability to be objective and impartial. That's really important when it comes to journalism. And it would be nice to also have someone that also has a basic passion for what we do, journalism. the ability to stick to strict weekly or semi-weekly article deadlines while handling school and other commitments as well. We want to make sure that while you're doing this job, you also have other things covered, right? We're students here first. But those with proven journalism prior experience will be prioritized. So that's why if you do decide to apply, we do want to see at least 1 or 2 examples of your work usually. We'll ask so that way we can get an idea of how you've written in the past, what have you written before. We've also, for example, I mentioned Brianna before, our news editor. She had actually submitted pieces that were, she's, I believe it's political science. She had submitted pieces that were similar to what she did there, but they were, again, same idea, impartiality, objective. They were really well written. So we can work with other pieces that are similar to that. But we do try to emphasize journalism if we can. And I do want to emphasize with staff writer position, it has the most opportunities for advancement, better pay, hours. You can become a section editor, and if not already, then you can also consider applying for editor at one point. And so I want to run down a few questions, hypotheticals that I think sometimes people have on campus or even in the campus community. They often wonder, well, who do I go to for this? Or they email multiple people at once and they think, oh, maybe I'll just tell all of you then. But there are not that you can't do that, but there are quicker ways to get particular things done. So I'm trying to emphasize that here. So if I'm a student who wants to get hired, who you go to, the quickest way to do that is probably the editor-in-chief. If you want to run an ad for an issue or 2 for your club, organization, business, the business manager. That was who you would email about that. You're searching for an article, a story, a photo. You can't find it on the website, the digital media editor. That's who you would go to for that. And if you have a really great, sports article idea, honestly, that's a little bit different. You can do the sports editor for that one, since they're pretty big into that, usually, and then the editor-in-chief. Either of us are good for that. And then a really good news story, that can be any staff writer, that can be the editor-in-chief. Those would be the people you probably want to go to for that. And then the below 3 there, whether it's, you're concerned with an inaccuracy with a published story that you were featured in, whether that's you want to publish an op-ed, whether that's wanting to know when an issue will be published, those would probably be good questions for the editor-in-chief as well. Right. So we're going to talk about what can we do for you, the campus community. So the first bit I would emphasize is making campus voices heard. So what you see here in front of you are 3 examples of opinion articles, op-eds. And I tried to get a variety here when I was picking these up because there's so many to choose from, but this ended up kind of capturing the variety of what you can see. One about, should athletes be required to get vaccinated? That was our previous editor-in-chief, Luke Mitch. Compassion and acceptance for LGBTQ group on campus. There's also about the new core as well. We've had a number of articles about that. So I put these here to show you that, especially, not that we haven't had op-eds this year or the past year, but especially like the past 2 years, I believe, prior to last year, we had a lot of those coming in, and we had a lot of dialogue, not just op-eds that just were put there and that was it. We had professors and students responding to each other and engaging with that, and we really want to see that happen more in the future if we can. Even current staff members, I've written an op-ed. We've had other just current staff write op-eds as well. There was a time where we actually had an opinion editor position. And I or others in the future, I don't think should be opposed to bringing that back. If we do see a lot of more opinion articles come up, more op-eds. But yeah, anybody, I want you to know, anybody can write one. Anybody can say they would like to. And currently the system we have is that would go to the copy editor and the editor, and we would just look it over, make sure the content seems fine, make sure that it's formatted decently, it's free of general formatting errors. But that's something we want to emphasize, especially moving forward, is that we really want to emphasize making campus voices heard. And pushing the idea that this isn't just a collection of 8 people writing articles. This can be the whole community doing this if they would like. Right. And then another thing that we can also do is increase campus outreach and engagement. So that means advertisements. That's a big thing we can do. That can go for student clubs. That can go for student organizations. That can also go for campus organizations. We can also put ads for that. Another one that we've been starting to get more traction for is local businesses as well. Some popular ones we're talking with are the Latrobe Art Center. I know for the past couple years Dairy Queen actually has wanted to put some ads in, and we've been trying to get those in there as well as they come in. So yeah, it can be, the options are pretty broad actually. So no idea is a bad idea. The worst we say is no, or what's the purpose we're looking for the ad. But another thing we can do for campus outreach and engagement is creative works. So we've had poems, we get people submit short stories. I know Brother X has been pretty popular for the past couple years with the paper. Brother Xavier, if any of you know him, he will publish like seasonal photography sometimes to us, or we can ask, and he's more than happy to. We've also had this year, you might have noticed if you've been reading the issues coming out, we've had a number of, they're creative works in a journalistic way, but they also are kind of opinion pieces at the same time. So those were very cool. We've had fun putting those out there, and even having some dialogue too about those. And we have had a couple people write in as well too to our email. So it was good to see a mixture of that as well. So I want to emphasize again by putting this out there, the review is not just for the 8 or 9 people that are working on it. It's for all of campus. And we would really like to see more people, if they have an interest in getting their word out there, being published. Even if it is to a small campus that might appear at first. So something to consider as well for what we do. So I think we're at the last part of it. Does anyone have any questions or any comments to add on to what we've talked about so far? Any general ideas? Oh yeah.
I just wanted to say that in terms of like the reviews outreach program, like in helping student organizations, they did us a huge solid. You can see in one of their articles, we had a front page story about one of our first big events. It really helped us gain traction on campus. So like, if you want concrete proof that this is what the review does, we're standing here right now, so.
Right. And what I'll add on to that, unless what you guys are thinking, if you're thinking of anything. When I first came here in 2020, fall of 2020, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do, like there was at one point a dodgeball club, I think here, that was a thing still. I think the accounting and finance club just died when I first came here. That was big before that, and that died because of COVID. But the one thing that I wanted to still look for was a campus newspaper. And in part due to the portal, but also in part due to our editor at the time, doing more outreach, I gave it a shot. And I did it because I just wanted to do it, And when I reached out, that was when I found out it wasn't a club. Well, it is, but it was also a paid work study position to be a staff writer. So when I got into it, I didn't know what I was getting into. I did a lot of creative writing at the time. That was actually a lot of what I did at high school. But I got into journalism and I started to really see the fruits of it. It wasn't just about write an article by this deadline. You're getting screamed at to get it in on time or whatever. No, it wasn't. I really appreciated the connections I got to make with other students and also the people I interviewed. You get to meet other students because of that. In a way, I wouldn't have got to meet or connect with you behind the cameras if I hadn't reached out or gotten to know what you do through the review or who was writing that article at the time. So, and I wouldn't have gotten to meet half of the faculty I got to meet if not for the review as well. And I know others have told me as well that part of the reason they got into their position was either because they weren't as good at a certain aspect of what they did and they wanted to get better at it, or they've also said that that they want to contribute more to campus. So so if you're ever hesitant to join, if anybody, whether on the stream or here in person, is hesitant and thinks, oh, this could be a lot of work, it is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie about that. It's being a staff writer, even running a website or even producing things in design, like it takes work. It does. And it takes working not just around your own schedule, but others as well and their time. But that's why we have a team, right? That's why I'm not the one looking at all of the emails coming from businesses. That's why I'm not the one doing all of the editing completely. That's why I'm not great with InDesign or any program like that. That's why we have people who specialize in certain things and do well at it. So it's a team effort. I want you to know that. Anybody who's worried, concerned, we have people that are here for a reason, right? I always like to tell my staff writers, if you have questions, you got your section editor, you've got me. If you really want, we also have Dr. McDaniel. You know, you've got multiple people you can go to if you have concerns, if you're not sure about something. I think Dr. McDaniel and I have talked the most this semester, that even more so than last semester too. So, you know, you have people you can reach out to. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't reflect badly on you as a student, as a professional, right? We do try to treat this as a job in a way, but at the same time, you're a student first. But that being said, we would love to see, you know, those of you who are here who are not in the review, and people who maybe are hesitant or nervous about going into their next year of the review. I want you to know that, you know, you still got people to lean on, and you know, not only is this a good, you could look at it as like a club experience, a nice way to give back, but it's also a good way to, you know, learn professionally and to see how this can apply to maybe not what you're doing next, but, you know, how are you going to do things in the workforce? How are you going to conduct yourself, right? I had forgotten to mention, I'm an accounting major, for those that may have forgotten or didn't know that. So even I forget sometimes when I'm in this position, or when I help out with Writers Club, I forget that sometimes. But what has always kept me here is that I do like journalism. I found that out being here. And I do enjoy writing, and I enjoy connecting with others. And being editor-in-chief has challenged me, it has, because it is a lot of managing, it is a lot of working with others, and a lot of making sure, it's not even that I don't enjoy it, but it's that it's at times you wonder, you know, am I pushing too hard, or am I not reaching out enough, or things like that. But usually the answer is no. You're fine. You're doing exactly what you need to. And I've been lucky enough that this whole year I've had a really excellent staff, and I've had really great people that have made my job easier. So yeah, I would say that's the gist of it. I strongly consider those of you on the stream, or you know, here in person, if you're thinking about the review or position, or if you have questions right now, you can reach out beyond this too. This video will be available on their YouTube as well too. So, any other last minute questions, or?
Thank you.
There's 2 questions on stream.
Okay.
One of them is, does it require any experience to work for the review?
Require any experience? That would depend. So to answer your question, that would depend on the position that you're applying for. So, for example, I'll quantify that by saying that. One second.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
No. You don't need experience. If you're talking about a writing position that is a staff writer, no, you don't need previous journalistic experience for that. It's kind of hard to find people with previous journalistic experience. We'll teach you. I'll teach you. If you want to join our staff and you have some really good writing skills, and what's most important to me for writers is not just that you like to write, but you want to investigate things. You want to find stories. Newspapers are built on stories. And if you can find those stories, And they can range from, what happened in the dorm last night to, the curriculum of your major. That's what I want to see. If you have that desire, if you want to chase a story down, I can teach you how to write a journalistic article. So no, I would say all I would see is the desire. We can teach you how to do the article.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thank you. I couldn't have put it in a better way, honestly. That's why I was going to quantify that by saying that I came in here actually with no real journalistic experience. The most that I've had is I was on the high school literary magazine for a bit. That was nothing like this. It was very, very different. And what I had known for 4 years all throughout high school was creative writing. There being rules, but also no rules at the same time, depending on what you do. So, and I learned from the bottom up how to do journalism essentially, and AP format as well. So, and even still to this day, I make mistakes in AP format. So, no matter how experienced you are, it is a learning process all the time. So yeah, don't be concerned about it. I'm here, Dr. McDaniel's here. Whoever else has been doing this for a while is going to be here as well, so not a concern at all. And another question?
I think Veda had a question.
Yeah, I was going to ask just out of curiosity and just it is myself a dumb question. Are we also allowed to submit pieces about things that happen off campus? For example, I know there was a huge fire last night over in the shopping mall, where right across from the Walmart. Would we be allowed to write a piece about that, students' opinions on what happened?
A piece about that?
For example, this is an example.
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sure, that's Jada, right?
Veda.
Everybody's really small.
That's Veda. Yep.
Veda, excuse me. I'm sorry, Veda.
You're good.
You're so small, I can't even pronounce your name correctly. Yeah, absolutely, you could do an article on outside things so long as you can connect it to the interests of the students reading the newspaper. Do you know what I'm saying? If you know that a lot of students go up there and have an interest in it, yeah, of course. Now, if you want to do larger news articles that are outside of the area, like big national things, maybe people can probably get that story better in the New York Times or in another newspaper, unless you're going to try to provide that personal St. Vincent orientation to it. So I would say newspapers generally open to any article so long as it has that kind of St. Vincent connection, even the opinion pieces.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I would add to that too. For example, Luke Mitch's article you might have seen that talked about should student athletes be vaccinated. That connected very easily to the hot conversation that was happening for the first 2 years I came to St. Vincent. Because not a lot, but there was definitely talks over, should I even have to do this, or if I don't, why should I suffer this consequence? And there was a lot of conversation around that. So he was able to connect it easily to what was happening on campus as well. So it's definitely possible, even in regards to opinion articles especially, but it is possible there could be news ones too. For example, Trump coming to Latrobe, that was an article that you'll see on the back there, on one of the front pages of one of those articles. And I should mention while I'm saying that, please feel free to take some of these back with you if you'd like. As I said before, all these articles here, I'm fairly sure do have digital copies online on the e-replicas, so please take them if you guys find one interesting or want to look through it. I purposely put extra copies of the issues that we have now so you can take those because we have hard copies of those. Any other questions, any on the stream? Or?
There was one more question on the stream. It
Okay.
was, how many staff writers does the review normally have?
Normally, I would say it depends on the way our staff looks. I'll quantify that by saying you have to remember that section editors consist of 3 writers in themselves. In addition, I think we've had as many as, we've had 3 full-time and 3 section editors at one point. So that's 6 articles every issue added onto that, plus whatever extra content we have. So we're open to maybe 2 or 3 full-time, and I say maybe because we also have part-time staff writers, people who perhaps they feel they have a heavier load, they want to write once in a while, so they'll write every other week. So I think at one point, last semester, we had 2 part-time staff writers and 2 full-time staff writers, and that worked out with our workload and also what we could budget as well. So yeah, I would say safe answer is 3 to 4 probably. Yep. Any other questions or things to add on, guys? Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this. And the current staff, obviously, thank you guys. I mean that not just for professional purposes on here, I mean that in general, that you are an excellent staff. Still are. We can't take past tense here, we got one more issue to go. But, it's been an excellent ride so far. And I look forward to what comes next and, the planning to come. So, yeah. And thank you for those of you who attended on the stream. Thank you to Esports for, doing all of this. Coming here an hour early and making this happen. So that means a lot. And for our outreach too. So, and Dr. McDaniel, thank you for coming on as well. I appreciate it. All right, and guys, please eat as much of that pizza as you want. We ordered a little bit too much, but that's okay. If you really want to take a whole pizza back with you, you can.
I'll take it.
Just wait till people pick over them. So, thank you all. I think that about wraps it up.